as student community members, faculty and staff are our most powerful tools to empower ourselves and our community. This panel series will consist of two events, one taking place today and another taking place next semester. During these events, you will be able to see and identify the different aspects of what it means to be Latinx while going to college. And at the end of our panel today, you will be able to ask any questions you might have to our student panelists. Additionally, we will be having a virtual raffle at the very end of our event, so please stay tuned for more details. In this raffle, you will be able to win amazing prizes like those showing on the screen. For grand prizes, your participation today will count as a double entry for the raffle taking place the next semester, but you will need to participate again and be present in order to win and receive those prizes. Now, I have the honor to present our moderator who will be leading today's panel. He is Mario Organista. Currently, he serves as advisor for PACE Scholarship Program in the Office of Diversity and Multicultural Affairs. Mario, thank you for your collaboration. And with this, I will pass the time over to you and let's get started.
Thank you so much for that introduction. I'm happy to be here with this amazing panel of students, which hopefully will bring a lot of expertise and we can learn through their lenses. Let's start by their introducing them. I would like each of them to introduce themselves. We'll start with Fernando.
Hi, my name is Fernando. As you can already read there. As it says right there, yes, I am a Hispanic college student. My parents are from Mexico, and I am basically studying engineering physics. I love everything science, I love everything STEM, and nothing has been holding me back since. And so if that can be said for me, then it can be said for everyone else.
Perfect. Thank you, Fernando. Felix?
Hello, my name is Felix. I'm currently at the U and I'm a senior now, so because I graduated semester, but I'm doing 4 majors at the moment to 1 now. But I'm doing a major in political science, Latin America studies, history, and international studies. And my goal is to go to law school at the end of, so I'll be done spring semester and then in law school, hopefully. That's my goal. But my parents are also in school, and I'm also first-gen student, and I have ADD, but that's whatever. And that's pretty much me.
Thank you, Felix. Jasmine?
Hi, everyone. I'm Jasmine. I am, I'm not sure what to say other than I'm a business student. I'm not sure exactly what I wanted to do with business, and I'm still kind of trying to explore that. All I know is I do want to help minorities or underrepresented communities to kind of put their voice out there and use their voice, because they do have voices. They don't need help finding one, they have one. But to educate people in marketing, and that could be such a toxic thing, and I think that good marketing could benefit a lot of people. So I think that's what I kind of want to do. I'm the middle child, and this is my 2nd year here. As of right now, I think I'm only taking 2 classes this semester, just because online learning is not it for me. But good luck to everyone that is doing more than 2 classes, because I'm already struggling. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you. We'll have Freddy go now.
Hey guys, so my name is Freddy Pascacio. I'm originally from Oregon. That's where I grew up. I lived in Mexico sometime when I was younger. Kind of like the other 2 dudes. My parents also immigrated from Mexico, and I'm a first generation college student as well. So I'm in the radiologic technology program here at SLCC. Afterwards, I plan on getting a degree in CT and hopefully going to medical school after that.
Thank you. And lastly, Evelyn.
Hi guys. My name is Evelyn Solaris. I'm all and the degree in Philippines. My parents are also from Mexico, from Utah, and I've also lived part of my life in Mexico. And I guess I really enjoy participating in events like these. I love educating our community and making them aware of the things or social justice and all that. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for introducing themselves. I'm really excited to hear just your backgrounds, just from your introductions are awesome. And I like all of you guys to answer this question first. What do you dream of becoming with your degree? I mean, we're all in school. I'm not in school anymore, but you guys are in school. And I mean, you guys are getting a degree for a reason. I want to hear that dream. Let's start with Evelyn.
So I want to become an immigration lawyer, perhaps open my own law firm and provide resources for underrepresented groups in my community.
Anybody else can go. Don't be shy.
I can go next. So I would like to either become an orthopedic surgeon or a family practice, just general medicine doctor. But what I really want to do is I want to be able to help, kind of like Evelyn said, the underserved, especially Hispanics and Spanish speakers. During some time, I was doing volunteer work at Malachi Free Clinic, just a free clinic in Salt Lake. I noticed that there's a lot of lack of communication between providers and patients, just because of that language barrier. So I definitely want to kind of be a resource there.
I can go next. As for me, I want to become an astronaut. It's always been a dream of mine. I've always wanted to work with NASA, work with SpaceX, and all these other crazy inventors and such. And it's just very fun to me because I enjoy studying about astrology and all things space and stars and all that such. But mainly with my degree, I want to go for a PhD level so that if I were to become an astronaut, I would be able to help make life in space multi-planetary, like how, Elon Musk wants it and such. I believe in that idea and it could absolutely work for us.
I guess I'll go next. I kind of mentioned this before in my introduction, and I'm not too sure what I want to do with business aside from help people. And usually you would want to go into humanities to do that, but I think business is a huge part of not even just the world, but America, and a lot of people don't get scammed, or for marketing, for example. Like, I want Latinos, Hispanics, anyone that needs for their voice to be heard and to educate people in a marketing sense to be able to do that and not feel afraid to be undermined or be like thought of as a trend. That's a huge thing, especially with a lot of blackfishing now. There's several parts to that, but I think that it's empowering to use our voices, and marketing is for sure one of those things.
Felix, I believe you're last.
What was so what was the question again?
The question was, what do you dream of becoming with your degree?
So my degree, I want to go to law school and just be a lawyer and possibly work around international affairs, do work with refugees, or just anything related to like the UN in Pacific. But at the same time, in order to have fun, I need to make money first. So I got like possibly get a job I don't like at first, and eventually from there move on to the position I can enjoy later on. Or that's how my cousin rephrased it. Yeah, that's pretty much.
Thank you for sharing that. Like, as our audience can see, we have a range from STEM to law to business to health. We're covering a lot of fields here. So all your experiences and your stories are going to be completely different, which is awesome because it gives our audience a different perspective of lenses. But now that you're in school, especially now during COVID, or I mean, just in school in general, I mean, things might be different right now, but well, how has higher ed impacted your life in particular? What is one thing from high school to now, or even from transferring from SLIC that has really impacted your life? Something that you would have not had if you didn't enter higher ed. And anybody can start.
Well, I think for me, especially with healthcare, I think if had I not come to a higher education, I wouldn't have that opportunity to help others, especially like the underserved. With more education, you get into more of a position where you can help others. So that's what it is for me.
Would anybody else like to share?
I would say overall exploring. I mean, a lot of us don't really know what we're wanting. I mean, at least for me, I guess I can say that, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I came into higher education, and it really kind of opened my eyes to see what I would be able to do with not only business but with like other people and building connections, building a network, and for sure, kind of meeting new people and being inspired by what they want to do, and how that could change the world for sure. Yeah.
And I can second that. Exposure is a really great thing, especially for all things in my experience, because in STEM you have multiple different fields. So you can go into health, you can go into chemistry, engineering, or even mathematics, but you always want to find the one that makes you be more positive, be something you've always wanted to be, and explore it. Just keep going, and you'll find something that you love. That's what I did, and I was grateful for that.
I feel that with like education, pursuing higher ed, and everything else, just being able to learn new things, just allow you to become more self-aware of who you want to be and who you want to be in the future, or who you are right now and who you want to be later on. And I feel that just education alone opens those doors for you and being able to help others as well.
I think for me, like what education did for me, because I was in Latinos in Actions before I went to college, it kind of helped me explore like who I was as a person and like my identity, and trying to figure out what Latino means, like what does it really mean as a person? Like, am I like just like the identity of colonization or what it comes from it? But as well, just learning from different people's experiences, like who are Latino, but also identify by either Black or white or European instead of using the word Latino. But just like learning more about connections and just meeting new people and learning new languages and just talking to people about their experience has just helped me a lot to figure out where I want to go and like how I sometimes identify myself as either American or Mexican, depending where I'm at. But just also trying to figure out what the word Latino means or Latinx to in a sense.
That's actually a good point you bring, Felix. Sometimes it just doesn't impact us, but also communities we're part of. So the next question I would like to ask, I mean, higher ed has impacted you, but how has it impacted your family and the community that you are part of? Sometimes our education journeys just don't impact us; they impact the people around us. So please share how this has impacted your family and your community.
I would like to say that it has impacted my family in the sense that because I'm a first generation student and I'm like learning as I go, I can, give some tips to my younger sister, or I would have to, you know, like my parents are a little more aware of what college really is, or how much work goes into it, and as well as it's it helps our community in, you know, not just having people join college, but actually graduate from college, and you know, having us as like minorities, I guess you can call us, you know, because it says essentially what we are, you know, we are underrepresented in a lot of America. And so if we build that education and we strive for those higher positions in any, like in corporates, in anything, in like law firms, sorry, in medical stuff, like in anything that is it's a huge plus for our community, because not do we only represent us, but we also can help, and we can inspire younger generations to say, hey, you know, like I see someone that looks like me, I can do that.
That's a great point. Would anybody else like to add to that?
Question. I have like a bad memory.
That's
Sorry.
on here. It's completely fine. How has higher ed not impacted the people around you? Family, for example, your community?
Like not impact.
Has impact. Like has impact.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just like it kind of helped me did more in like helping my mom or siblings like figure out what to do, but like the resources that I learned from going to college, like what scholarships to apply or just what stuff can help like my family or my friends to like get better resources in order to be successful as a citizen. And like talking to someone else who was also in my shoes, like a first gen, who has passed level and is a lawyer, and talking about his experience has kind of helped me understand like I'm at right now and what I need to in order to like finish that path and be in a level where I can like be safe while help the next future too. Yeah.
Thank you for that input. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys still hear me? Perfect. Okay. So during your time from transition from high school to SLIC, or maybe from SLIC to a 4-year institution, there's always a transition period. There's a change, right? For me, when I'm looking back at college, my parents thought that high school was the same as college, right? So I would be studying for longer hours, or they would be like, "Why are you coming home so late? There's no way the library's open that late." That was my moment of transition, learning that this was different. Each of you guys have a defining moment during this transition into the higher ed system. Can you guys maybe bring that up and see how that transition has defined you as a student?
So for me, I moved to Utah from Oregon because I wanted to go to be in SLIC's radiology program. That's something I really wanted to do. And where the town I grew up in, there wasn't a radiology program close by, so I had to come here. For me, my parents weren't with me when I moved here. So for me, it was kind of growing up quicker. It was learning independence. So the transition for me was difficult because I didn't necessarily have my parents there with me. Kind of like you said, they weren't checking up on me and saying they like, why are you coming home so late? You know, it was kind of just on my own. It was up to me to make the right decisions. So I learned to grow up pretty quick.
I feel that to add to what Freddie said, I as well don't have, or as of now, my parents or anybody in my family, because I'm first generation student, I don't have that support or knowledge in my family that I wish I had. So like just simple things about college. Most of my support comes from like my mentors, who I'm actually really grateful for, and I feel that maybe having that emotional support from your family really does help for the transition. And
Thank you, Evelyn. Anybody else want to take a shot at that?
Yeah, I can. So I can agree with them both. Since I am also first gen, I didn't have anyone to guide me through the first years of college. Because in my first year, I went to Utah Valley University, and from where I am now, I currently live in Taylorsville, so it's always a drive back and forth. And my parents always knew that I would be coming back late because if I have a whole set of classes at UVU, I might as well just stay at the university until I finish my last class. And literally, they were fine with me and going over there and knowing that all the time I spend over there is just radically too much, and it's quite the transition. And the more they found out about that, and then when I transferred to Slick, it was a lot more simple since the campus is a lot more closer to us, and they just started to feel like, hey, we know you're going to college. It's great and all, but although I don't even know where I'm going with this. Can someone take over for a bit? I feel kind of silly.
No, it's not silly at all. Your journey is important to us. Would you like to share anything, Jasmine?
Yes, so I agree with all of these. These are all great points, and I'm like nodding as I hear stuff because I'm like I think I kind of experienced some of the same stuff. But I think being involved was very much. I mean, I've always tried to be involved, even in high school, but then the last 2 years, that wasn't they were not great for high school for me. But when I came into college, I remember I was really scared because like I applied to SLCC like a month and a half before classes started. And so my parents didn't know that because they're like, okay, she's got it together. She's going to, college, whatever. But I didn't really have it together at all. And I came in and I was so nervous and I was so scared because I, um, I mean, I had a friend with me, but like even then, like I don't really know what to expect because it's not your usual, hey, wake up at like 7:30 in the morning and then you have your lunch break or anything. But it was really, really freeing. And I think my parents, especially my mom, she noticed that and she noticed how excited I was and how involved I was because I would spend all of my time on campus. Then I started working on campus. So like I live on campus essentially now. Well, not anymore, but before COVID, I did. And I was like, hey, I'm going to this thing, or like there's Brim Bash going on, or um I'm like going to a club meeting. And I think that really kind of defined um not even just college, but kind of the person that I am. Like I try to be very involved with everything that I do because I'm not only just spending my money, but like I want to meet new people and I want to make new connections and I want to be excited because like school is stressful and I don't want to just be stressed and paying to be stressed. I want to be paying to have some sort of fun and make the most I can out of it before I, transferred to like a 4-year institution. But yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I mean, a lot of Latinx students are facing this transition period. They're challenging, they're fun, they're exciting, they're scary sometimes, right? But I guess the most important thing is that you're not in it alone. But before we continue, I want to just ask, where in your academic journey are you? I think that's important for the audience to understand. So if you're in your first year, or your sophomore, or you've already your third year, can you just quickly say, like, it's even okay if you say it's my first semester, or my second semester. So we'll start with Fernando.
I'm in my third year.
I'm in my second year in the program.
I'll actually be graduating by next.
I'm in my second year.
I'm in my fourth year. My bachelor's by this spring.
Congratulations. So we have you guys are a little more experienced than most other students, which is awesome because you have more advice to give to other students, or not just other students, but our institution itself. So what can the education system do besides making education more affordable for Latino students to be more successful throughout their academic careers? You guys touched base a little bit about mental health and making classes easier. Can you guys maybe a little more information on that?
Could you repeat the question? Sorry.
Yeah, of course. So what can the education system or the institution do to help Latino students be more successful throughout their academic careers? I'll give you guys a second to think about it. You know, I mean, I can think a couple of things, but you guys are the students.
I'll start. So I feel that in the Latin community, there's a lot of stigma when it comes to talking about mental health and sexual health and everything else that parents seem to find out of the ordinary. I find that it's difficult for young Latinos to actually talk about those things with their parents. So I feel that the institutions should be able to, I guess, not for just Latinos, but like for other groups as well, to provide counselors that they can talk to that have the same background who are able to understand those struggles. Just, because there's people that really can't talk about talk about those things to their parents, and maybe they can't find answers that easily.
Thank you, Evelyn. Anybody else?
Sorry, I'm gonna chime in, and okay, well, I'm gonna just say that of course we need representation with education, because I mean, I am fortunate enough to have had very diverse like a diverse community to grow up in when I was in grade school. And then that kind of changed a bit when I got up to high school and I switched schools. But our education system, I think for sure needs to reevaluate itself and not and like teach us about some like things that are important, not to just the Caucasian community, and not to benefit America, but to like give us a well-rounded scope of what actually went down in history. Because history repeats itself, and I think it's very important for us to learn about it, to learn from our mistakes, for us not to go through those again. And like, I mean, I don't, half of the stuff I don't understand why we would need, like PE class in college. I see the benefits, for to like go out and do great things, which I do like about colleges. It's not, like it's not you take a PE class and you have to run a mile every day. You can take meditation, you can take you can go rock climbing, you can do kayaking, or you can do a bunch of kickboxing and a bunch of other stuff. But I think some of them just don't make sense necessarily. General eds, I think a lot of the time we cover those in high school, and unless I need science for like my major, I would not care to learn about science. But that's just my opinion.
I can agree with that a lot, because for me, my generals weren't as important as at all, actually. I literally just need to take a bunch of science classes, math, and engineering courses just for my major itself. But in no way will I probably need some sort of communication class, because I mean, it's always I can speak English, and so I can communicate well with others. But why should I have to take a course on it? To me, it seems silly, and as well as other life and wellness courses and so on. But like like uh like what she said, it's her opinion, and so it is my opinion as well.
If I can just hop in, or unless you want to go, Freddie. You want to go? Like you can go away.
So I was just going to add on to what they said. I also took a college, I believe it was like college success class, which was, it was like one of the requirements for my general education, which I just found kind of ridiculous. The fact that we needed to take a course on how to, it makes sense. I mean, don't get me wrong, it makes sense. But I don't think that it needs an entire semester for it. Does that make sense? People that want to be in school and that are passionate and pursuing a career, they're going to stay regardless. But yeah, I just wanted to add to what Fernando and Jasmine had said.
So adding on to that, that was like my opinion. My first and second year, I thought gen ed was kind of like weird and like it shouldn't be there. But then kind of figuring out after I got my associates, understanding what the classes were for, it kind of allowed me to like understand like there's a reason for that. Like to have your health class, like it helps you like build a better nutrition. Like once you're an adult, like you'll have that later on in life that you may not know prior to going to college. But also there's some general ed stuff that kind of makes sense. And depending on what major you do, you might be able to double major or triple major to even quad major in what I'm doing, because I'm doing a quad major because I got so many classes at Slick that were like correlated. So it's so much easier to go to the U and just become like 4 majors instead. But like just figuring out what classes and what you get from it, it makes a lot of sense. Makes it easy for you to like before in class, look at it like what is this going to offer me in the future? Is there another class that would take off that level requirement that I just take instead? Like for like your gen class, you can hop to meditation, and that will count as your list. So like looking what might benefit you more too. But that's what I got.
And just adding on to you guys' point, I feel that I agree with you guys. Some classes or some general classes really don't help with the degree that you're going to. But I've noticed that some classes do. I'm actually taking a public speaking class this semester, and it's really helping. And I feel like if I would have not taken that class, it would have been a lot harder to being able to participate right now, because there's just little things that you actually need but you don't notice. Not all of them, but some you do.
Sorry, don't get me wrong. I think that there's certain classes that you can definitely gain a lot, like you mentioned, but then there's other classes like the class I mentioned, the college success now, whatever, and then like intro to music or like arts and stuff like that. I personally, this is just me, I just think that those are kind of a waste of time. But obviously there you can take anything you want from whatever class and you can turn it into a life lesson, right? You can definitely do that, but that's just my personal opinion.
I'm so sorry. I would like to agree with what Freddie said. Like it's for sure. Sometimes you kind of just have to make the best out of what the class you have to take. Because because for example, he mentioned the art class, right? The fine arts credit that we have to take, and that was one of my favorite classes that I took my first semester at SLCC. And it was not necessarily useful, but did I have fun? Of course I had fun. And like now I look at movies or like TV shows, and it's kind of like random stuff that I notice. It's for sure something. Do we need it? No, not necessarily, but I think stuff that we do need is for sure kind of like basic life skills that are not even necessarily in college, but in high school, because we're talking about education overall, right? So in high school, I would have liked to learn about, basic stuff that we need. Financial literacy is supposed to teach me, how to do taxes. I did not learn how to do taxes there. I'm still not sure how to do taxes, but basic life skills. CPR is not something that is taught to us. Like it's not mandatory. It's not like a PE class, or it's not like a music credit that I had to do for high school. And I think that's for sure something we as Americans have to, or as a country, have to focus on, in teaching basic skills that we actually need for life. You know, teaching about credit and teaching about, you know, nutrition could be a good thing that I believe Felix mentioned, that we don't necessarily get taught. I mean, we have like a food class, but he just had to make food, not to like, I don't know. I guess I'm going off on a tangent, but it's for sure. I think our system needs to be reformed there as well.
And I agree with that. I think, I mean, we're the institution's here to serve our students, right? And sometimes, I guess the next question I would like to ask is, if your instructors were in the room, well, what would you want them to know about you, or how would you want them to teach, or something you want to tell your instructor? You know, go ahead, Jasmine.
I am so passionate about this because I hate flipped classes. I had to withdraw from my math 1050 class, and I understand math. I do enjoy doing math. It's weird, but I do enjoy it, and I understand it pretty well. But my math course this semester and last semester, because I tried taking it for the summer, it's a flipped version. So essentially, all I had to do was teach myself my material and then go ask questions, which I do not like, especially for math, because math is a very hard subject for a lot of students. That is not something that I believe should be taught in a flipped version. Because if I'm struggling and I understand math and I was unmotivated to go on and do my homework and teach myself about it when I'm paying for it, imagine students that struggle with math already. You know, we have the STEM Center that can help, but like why would I go to a tutor and ask them to teach me what my professor has to teach me already? So I would just say to the math department, do not do flipped courses, or like, I guess any department. For me, it just does not work. I don't see why I would have to teach myself and ask you questions after, when you should teach me, and then I would ask you questions based on what you taught me. But yeah, that was my 2 cents.
Thank you so much. Anybody else? This is your chance to let the teachers know what's going on. Okay, what would you like, maybe not teachers, but your fellow students, you know, your fellow peers, to know about you, or how they could, you know, how they can learn or change stuff on campus and stuff like that?
I can tell this one. This one is okay. So, in my experience, for most of my STEM classes, I'd always have to create a whole group of all my peers. And so then, whenever we're struggling in, let's say, Calc 3, we'd always come up with a group and talk about this one question. And until we can all agree to some answer, then we ourselves are learning alongside one another. It's always best for other students to come and ask for help from other students, because usually from the teacher themselves, they really don't even want to give you the answer at times. I know there's some really good ones that want to, but other ones, like in flipped classes, they're a lot more strict on those kinds of concepts. And so, in my experience, if you're the student and you want help for a specific class, don't be afraid, but to ask your peers, because knowingly they will absolutely help you, because they will probably need the help as well. And it's best for all of you to understand the subject instead of just being prideful and doing it on your own.
That's a really good point. Involving your peers, I think that's one of the biggest challenges, not just my generation as millennials, but Generation Z, which I think some of you are as well, have. Some people just want to be in their own world and not worry about anything, especially as Latinx community. We kind of got to stick together, because sometimes we're the first, right? In our families, in our communities, in our groups. I do want to ask each of you what part or organizations you were part of, school or extracurricular activities, especially in this day and age when our resumes have to be packed to get a job. I'd like to hear what organizations you guys are part of.
So I currently volunteer for Utah Valley Refugees as a youth coordinator there. I also am a volunteer X-ray tech at that Malachi Free Clinic. I'm a member of the USRT, which is the Utah Society of Radiologic Technologists, and I'm a student representative of the Radiologic Technology program. So with that being said, I'm involved in all these things because from my experiences, I feel like I can kind of give back to those people, right? X-ray, I can give back both the skill I've learned in school, and then I'm fluent in Spanish, so I can help the patients there too. Utah Valley Refugees, they're a lot like us guys. A lot of us first generation students where their parents came to this country under similar circumstances where they're trying to figure this out too. So I kind of put myself in their shoes, and if I'm able to, at least give them something that's helpful, and that's good enough for me.
As for me, I am a part of multiple programs on SLCC. For one, I am a peer mentor for the Office of Diversity and Multicultural Affairs. And I'm also a tutor for all things STEM at the STEM Resource Center itself. And I also am participating in NCAS, which is NASA associated community college. Sorry, I completely forget about the whole acronym, but it's basically I get to work alongside NASA and such. It's very exciting. And as for volunteer work, I mean, I got nothing, just complete programs and so on. But Freddy had a lot. I can't compare. That was great.
Anybody else? Okay,
I
go ahead, Felix.
like I have a couple of the paths right now, currently true at the U, like not a mentor, just working them as a student. And I'm with this new called they call just a bunch of Latinx students, like for me, like they're in different majors, like getting conversations, and there's a lot of stuff into it. So like learning about the program, because like I got like reached out by a couple of friends that were involved in that area, and I agreed to it. And I'm also part of Latinx now. That was pretty much like in my past I did, but now at the U, more.
Thank you, Felix. While we wait for anybody, if anybody from our audience would like to put a question, please do so right now. But while we wait for some questions, I would like you to ask you this final question from me. What advice would you give young Latinx people that are coming into higher ed? Something you wish they would have told you when you entered? And each of you guys, please answer this because I think this is one of the most important questions.
Honestly, no, go ahead, man. You're good.
For me, use all the resources you can get. I didn't realize anything about the ODMA until a year after I attended SLCC. Everything about it is great. They paid for my college, which I didn't even have to rely on FAFSA. I got this job from the ODMA to gain more experience with other people, and it's gonna look good on my resume. And not to mention STEM resources. You've got everything for you here. If you have trouble in math, come over here. Chemistry, biology, anything we have it. It's everything you need in just one place. So you utilize all the resources you have. You have so much, and not to mention the Thane Center, dude. We got everything, man. Like from a garden to basically, what was it? Massage, appointments and whatever, you can get all your stress cleared, free. I mean, not free, but it's there. It's great.
I would like to agree with what Freddie and Fernando just said. I think for sure using your resources is a huge thing, especially in college. You don't only learn about the resources that we as a school have, but of third parties that can help you as well, and those can be super super helpful. Make connections and have a support system. Even like if you have support system at home, make one at school. Have your friends there. Have clubs, or for me, I think are a huge thing. It's essentially a social gathering and it's fun, but you also can get to learn new things with them, and you get to go on trips or whatnot. And I think also give, and I don't know if it's a me thing or if it's like an overall thing that maybe a lot of Latinx students share, but I'm very stubborn and I do not like asking for help. So ask for help when you need it. Do not wait till don't wait until you have nothing left in you to ask for help, and give yourself breaks. I think that as a society, we're often very much like, you have to do this, you have to rush, and you have to get this done. And that not always works for everyone. So give yourself breaks and give yourself a breather, because you can't physically do your best if you're not mentally at your best. Just treat yourself well overall, and be patient with yourself, because you're already on this. If you're passionate, you have a lot ahead of you, and that can be really tough to think about. But it's also the experiences and the learning and the fun that you get to do along the way that is also as much part of it as like the struggle, and it's all going to be worth it in the end.
Does anybody else, before we start asking, I think we have one more question before we end. Anybody else would like to share? Perfect. If one of you guys would just share quickly, or Evelyn, your
Yeah.
mic.
Yeah, I just like to say that when you're going into higher education, I feel that it's really important to get out of your comfort zone, because most of the time, you don't do a lot of things because you're scared. Like this panel, for example, you need to get yourself out there and not just wait for opportunities to come to you, and take those actually.
Thanks, Evelyn. And if one of you guys will answer this last question, or actually maybe one or two, college is very tough. How do you keep yourselves motivated, especially during this weird 2020 year? We need extra motivation.
For me, it's my parents, knowing what they went through to get here. And regardless of what I do, it's never going to compare on a difficulty scale to what they had to do to get here. So honestly, that's my motivation. That's it.
Felix, go ahead.
So just taking breaks or even like naps once in a while, but we're asking for help, and just not where you want to get, and like just tell yourself, what do you want to do? Like, do you be where your parents are at, or do you want to do something better and like be at a place where you're more stable and like kind of get checked, like get a stable job? Like picturing that helps you stay motivated for me.
Thank you. I don't know if you guys are looking at the chat box, but the director of library services wants to know what they could be doing that could better support your success. Things particularly to the library.
For the hotspot, rather than like 1 month, you do like a whole semester. In my opinion, I know you do the whole semester, rather than just a month basis. And I feel like it'd be better for students just to go there and pick it up during the coronavirus. But that's just up to me. That's just me though.
Anyone else? This is our chance.
Maybe having like the books that the professors have like asked you to get at the library, so like to be able to check them out, or just have an option to like to get them at the library too, rather than just buying a book every single time that you have a class or a new class. I think that'd be good too.
Perfect. Thank you. So this will be the last question. This is completely a different topic. So this is, I think this is where this is a good ending. Currently, we're seeing a lot of people advocating for equality for all people. If your politicians were in this room right now, what would you want them to know about you, your family, and your culture? It doesn't have to be all three. You can just say something that you would want them to know about you, your family, or your culture. So with the culture, the food is awesome. So anybody else?
So like, what do you mean by that? Like, can you like rephrase that?
So let's say one of the politicians were in the room right now and they didn't know anything about you except that you were Latinx. What else would you share with them?
Just like that, I'm just like any other like citizen too, and but also like I'm not just Latino, but I'm white, I'm European, and I also have indigenous background. But like not just putting myself like a category of all people, but like we're different. Like, we all have different sides. Like saying like I don't know, like, showing your experience, like where you're from, and talking about like, the stuff that you want to get more from, like your education or like school or place that don't have funding because like house is just not that good, so you can't get enough funding because of the way the system's set up. But figuring out ways like they can have students to be more successful and not looking at someone as a person of color, but a person as like individual, and that we're all the same. We all want dream. Like we all want to like finish our dream, pretty much.
That's amazing, Felix. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else?
I think I would tell them very many things, but I think a very important one would be that our culture is beautiful and it's important. And just as everyone else's, you know. But because of how the system is set up, we did not get to experience that. We did not get to learn about it. We did, like, I personally, I was born here. I was in Mexico for the first 5 years of my life, and then we came back. And I don't know anything about, like, aside from what America has done, you know. And this is kind of going back to this whole education thing where we are so whitewashed and our systems are so whitewashed to the point where our culture is not, like, I can't really say I know my culture. I know I can say that I think it's beautiful, but I can't really speak about it because I don't really know it. And that is not necessarily something that like I had to go out and do, or like that my parents had to do, because a lot of that is education. You know, like we get a lot of our knowledge and our resources from education. So I would encourage them to think of the population and to think of how is this benefiting, how is what we're like, what are we doing right now to benefit everyone rather than just the top tier, because that's essentially what's going on. They're benefiting the top tier, and and in turn, you know, we're we're losing our culture and we're losing knowledge about things that we should know about. Not just because we are Hispanic or we're Latinx or we're Black or not because of our race, but because it's important to what like America has become, into the citizens that are, well, to the people that live in America. I would just encourage them to kind of look at themselves and see why are we getting such an uproar right now about equality.
We could keep going. You guys just keep bringing these amazing viewpoints and perspectives. One of you guys asked earlier about resources. Actually, most of you guys said about sharing resources. How is the best way for the college to communicate that to students? Do we need to start a TikTok, or is it's like what's going on here? Let's hear some of your opinions about how we can communicate better with students.
I'm gonna just say it, social media. If it has to be TikTok, make it TikTok. Like if it has to be, I mean, I don't know. I think social media is such a huge deal for our generation overall, and you just need to catch our attention. Like whether it's Instagram, it has to be aesthetically pleasing. Let's be real. Like we're not gonna look at it, we're not gonna read it. It's like it doesn't catch your eye. I think that's the best way, and we have to realize that not everything will work for like not one thing will work for everyone. If you want to target some on TikTok, some on Instagram, or some like on flyers, then you can go ahead and do that. Just because we have first of all a diverse population in our school, as well as a we have all a wide age range. So just make it fun. I would say at least for me, or like I guess I can speak for like the younger students. It's make it fun, and I don't know, like it's very kind of trial and error, I would say, like getting people's attention. But if you and I mean, at the end of the day, if we want to look for resources, I think the slcc.edu website, we have to really push that and push looking for offices, or like the Thane Center, looking for the career services, which is not very well known, and looking for that search bar and trying to look for things there. And because that's a lot, we can learn a lot from that. Not as just like not even just as employees, but as students. I kind of figured my way like through slcc.edu by searching everything up, and I figured it out. So yeah.
Thank you, Jet. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I think making research to like find like the site is making it more navigatable for students. Like if they want a scholarship that's being offered, maybe having a site, because I know this like website is kind of easy to find compared to other universities, but making it easy to figure out what applications are what scholarships are like out for a semester and where you can find them, or just make it easy for students just to figure out the layouts of the site itself. Because I know at some universities it's hard to find the right funds because they on purposely they make it hard to find. But at Select so far, I thought it was easy to navigate their site, but just making it easier and putting more detail on the site itself.
Perfect. Thank you. I just want to personally thank you for your amazing perspectives. I know I keep bringing that up, but as Latinx students, we need to share our voices, and you did that today. And hopefully, our institution, our peers, and instructors could learn a little bit today. But I'd like to turn over the time to Maribel, and thank you for joining. Actually, I don't know if Maribel's still on, but let's please feel free to fill out the Google form for the raffle. And if you win, we'll be in contact with you. Thank you, everybody, and you guys have a lovely evening.
Mario, sorry, I'm gonna jump in because
there we go.
I guess Maribel is not on. Sorry, everyone. Hi, my name is Ainhoa Rincon. I am part of the fabulous group that organized this event today, and I just want to say really quickly, thank you to our students. You guys are amazing, and you guys did a remarkable job. And thank you everyone who participated attending this panel. Just really quickly as we close, I want to share with you all, as kind of how Mario briefly shared, we are doing a raffle for this event. And basically, oh, sorry, this totally went all the way to the beginning. It's actually right here. Okay, if you're a student and you want to participate to win one of the super amazing prizes that we mentioned at the beginning, like backpacks, like swag, a voucher to Arepas, which is a Venezuelan restaurant downtown Salt Lake, this voucher is worth for 3 empanadas of any filling that you want. They're really good. I've had them before. You will need to scan this QR code and fill out a quick form. It takes like 2 minutes, or you can fill out the form that I included in the chat box. I don't know if that was sent to everyone. I hope it was. And if not, Mario or Maribel, could you guys just like share really quickly? I can't see my chat box right now. Actually, I think I just sent it only to one person. Sorry about that. All attendees. Perfect. Thank you, Maribel. Thank you. So just take a second, fill out that form or scan this QR code. And after the form is completed, you will be automatically entered to the raffle, and we will contact you directly next week if your name is selected for the prize. Again, you can win. We have a variety of prizes, and so everyone can or will be getting a prize. So make sure to put in your information. And so, yeah, that's pretty much all for our event today. Again, thank you to our student panelists, to Mario. Thank you so very much for being our moderator. And as mentioned previously, we'll have a second student panel happening in spring 2021. So we'll continue on these conversations, and we'll continue on asking questions to our amazing students. So I look forward to seeing you in our second student panel happening in the spring. Keep an eye on SLCC today for more information, and we'll have more events for our Latinx Heritage Celebration that just started today. We'll continue on for the rest of the month. So thank you so very much, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me or stop by the Office of Diversity, or just contact any of us. Thank you so much.